Hey everybody, this is a preview of today's members episode. If you want to hear the whole thing, head on over to theconfessionalspodcast.com, hit the join button, and become a member today. Wait. Before you go skipping the intro, I know you guys like doing that. Last year we came out with The Shape of Shadows. This year we're doing Sasquatch and Missing Man. Me and Wes Germer from Sasquatch Chronicles, you know the guy. We went to Ground Zero where he had his Bigfoot encounter and we investigated, we hunted the Bigfoot, and crazy stuff happened. If you want to see that documentary, we are doing a world premiere on May 5th. That's Sunday, May 5th. If you want tickets to that event, link is in the description below. Go ahead and check it out, get your tickets, and go ahead and skip the intro now.
Merkel Media.
I hear a voice from directly behind my head, and it says, "You need to quit here immediately, and you need to give yourself to God." I'm in a different place, but then there's a blue entity. There's a holy war coming. The time I met him, I asked him, "You're God?" No, I'm not God. I'm just here to help you out.
But I do know that your experience has to do with being taken to other realms and going through operations or some kind of upgrade for upcoming war and battle.
This was all circulating around the base that a giant had been killed, but no one was supposed to talk about it.
I saw 3 long, bony fingers reach up underneath the door, curl up to grab it, and then disappear.
When he came over to me, dude, he slithered over to me.
And this giant comes out of the cave and they're all frozen. And he starts running and firing at this giant. Well, the giant moves. He's got a spear in one hand and he's running really fast and spears Dan and holds him up like this. Somebody yells, "Shoot him in the face, shoot him in the face." They basically decapitate him.
Got closer. When he got about 15 yards away from me, I raised that 12 gauge and I blowed his head off.
I feel something pulling at my leg, and I look over and there are 2 small gray entities pulling at me. And they're literally, I'm getting pulled off the bed.
I reached my hand into this bush and I touched air. Couldn't breathe and I couldn't move because I know I'm seeing a monster.
Welcome to the show, everybody. You're listening to the Confessionals podcast. I'm your host, Tony Merkel. Thanks for being here. If you have a crazy, wild experience you want to share with me on the show, go ahead and shoot me an email. My email address is contact@theconfessionalspodcast.com. That's contact@theconfessionalspodcast.com. Or go to the website, theconfessionalspodcast.com, hit the contact section, and you can reach me that way as well. Either works for me, just get a hold of me. And speaking of websites, go ahead and check us out at moment.co/Sasquatch. That's where you can get your tickets for Sasquatch and the Missing Man, the new documentary we're coming out with on May 5th. It's a world premiere live on May 5th, right there at that website, moment.co/Sasquatch. You can get your tickets for the live event, and you can watch the live event right there on May 5th. And this is a documentary where we went out to Washington to Wes Germer's infamous location where he had his Bigfoot encounters. We went to Ground Zero. We saw that. We went to different properties and we investigated the whole area. We documented it, and we're going to be premiering it right there on moment.co/Sasquatch on May 5th. All right, today we have Colin coming on the show, and Colin is somebody who contacted the show to share his story about being taken to other realms. On the surface, you think that's crazy, but I've talked to so many people now over the last, I'd say 2 years. I don't want to make it sound like it's hundreds of people, but I'd say at least 10 to 12 people that I've talked to over the last several years that have had similar stories to Colin, where they're being literally taken to other realms. And he is going to share something that I have heard once before through somebody else, that he was actually operated on in another realm by angelic Nephilim entities. And he was told that he is being given upgrades for a future war coming. This is a wild story, And he is trying to make ends meet where he's like, I don't know what this is. Here's what I'm experiencing. And you're going to get to hear that right now. All right, today we have Colin on the show. Colin, how are you, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Man, it's going good. So you were brought to me by the guys over at Nephilim Death Squad. Shout out to them. And they told me that I had to talk to you. And Danny told me that I had to talk to you a while ago. And we finally are getting this happening. And I find you interesting because of many things, many different things. But essentially, I don't know the whole story. I don't know how it all unfolded, but I do know that your experience has to do with being taken, I presume, to other realms and going through operations or some kind of upgrade for upcoming war and battle. Now that is clickbait if I ever heard it. You got me. So
that was not the intention. That was not the intention. I didn't necessarily ask for any of this to happen, but it did. So
right. And so that's why you're here, though, to talk to me about it. I'm one of the few people in the world right now that has a collection of people who have similar stories. There is people who have been on my show who have similar stories. There are people who have not been on my show who have similar stories. And there are people who will be on my show who have similar stories. And so for whatever reason, I find myself in a position where these stories are coming across my path. And I think that there is a reason for that. I'm not going to turn this into me, though. So what I want is for you to start out from the beginning. This is all relatively new for you. Last January is when it started for you. So we're recording this in March 1st. So we had the leap year. We are now finally in March, and this is March 1st, 2024. And this all started happening for you in January 2023. So I want you to lay out your story, how this stuff unfolded for you, what happened to you, as best you can remember, step by step, what all went down.
Alrighty. There was multiple incidents. There was multiple experiences that I had. It all started. I had a second job at a comedy club here in Indianapolis. I'm a grave digger during the day, and I was working at a comedy club at night. I got 3 kids, so I was trying to get extra money for whatever. It was miserable though. The people that I met while at the comedy club for the year that I was there, it just completely ruined. Well, I loved comedy, watching specials and doing all that type of stuff, and it just completely ruined it. The people what I witnessed and everything. So I'm doing this. I'm 6 days a week at the cemetery, and then at night 6 days a week or 5 days a week I'm at the comedy club, and I'm just miserable. And I've been sober for like 2 or 3 years at this point. I'd previously been an alcoholic. And I nothing was working. Absolutely nothing. I couldn't figure anything out. I was just miserable. I was just trying to get through it. And I'd researched on psilocybin therapy. It was like, well, let's try that and see what happens. So I got some mushrooms. And the first few times nothing happened. I just ate a few. And then one night I ate some while I was at the comedy club. And I ate like a gram or two, and I was standing at the door, and we have a showroom upstairs and a showroom downstairs, and both shows were just getting ready to let out or whatever. So there's a bunch of crowd of people going out, and I'm standing there and I'm watching, and as clear as we were talking earlier, I hear a voice from directly behind my head, and it says, "You need to quit here immediately, and you need to give yourself to God." And I spun around. I just immediately spun around and no one was there. So it freaked me out. So then I start looking around and it says it again. I'm like, well, and at this point, I'd never had anything like this had ever happened to me before, ever. I'm not a religious person. Prior to this, I wasn't raised in church. God wasn't ever discussed. Jesus. What I knew about Jesus is we got candy on Easter and Christmas. And that was it. That was it. So now I'm hearing this voice, and it freaked me out. Freaked me out. So I listened to it. I went to the office and I went to the manager and I said, "Hey, I gotta go." I was like, "Emergency happened. I gotta leave." So I left, and then I'm walking my car, and the whole time I'm walking my car, it feels like there's somebody with me, directly behind me. I turn around, nobody's there. Nothing's there. I get home, I'm freaked out. I get in bed, I go to bed. I think that's the end of it. So I wake up in the morning and I'm recalling what happened, and it's bringing me to tears. So I say, okay, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to quit. So I text my boss. I said, hey, effective immediately, I can't work there any longer. Personal issues. And he was not too happy about it, but it is what it is. So when I listened to it, I was just, the feeling that I got inside was like, thank God you listened. If that makes sense. Like there was something with me and I had no idea what. But I was like, all right. So I did it again the next night. So I took some more. And I was like, well, this time I'm going to meditate. So I'm laying down on my bed and I'm meditating. And something different happens is where it feels like I'm not leaving my body, but when my eyes are closed, I'm in a different place. And it's mushrooms, but then there's a blue entity, and it's like I don't know. And I've heard people talk about the DMT realm and all that, and the entities, and this is way different. This is just mushrooms, and so it starts talking to me, and I don't know. I'm really leery about it. I don't know what it is. And I ask it, I go, are you God? And it laughed at me and said, no, I'm not God. I'm just here to help you out. I was like, you're going to help me out with what? And it's like, well, it seems like you've been having some problems in life. And I had. I was like, well, holy shit. So we start going through things, and it's almost like I'm talking with myself. And it's amazing. I'm like, this is just great. So I wake up the next morning after that second time, and I feel refreshed. It's like I've been rejuvenated. Like I was pretty depressed prior, and I'd gone through a divorce 6 years ago. So it wasn't the best of times for me. But when I woke up, I was like, holy moly, I feel so different. I wasn't depressed. I was uplifted. I could think clearly. I wasn't just the anxiety and the dread that I'd had, prior, being gone all day, not being able to do anything, just working constantly. I was like, well, this is different. So I just went on with my day, had a great day. I didn't do them that night. And then I woke up the next day, great too. I was like, well, this is amazing. So I get to the weekend and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to do it again. And so I'm meditating. And, this time I eat a little bit more. So I eat about 3 or 4 grams. And this is a lot different. And so let me try to think here. I don't know how to describe the feeling. So I'm I don't know how to tell you this. So I get this feel prior to eating them, I get this feeling to eat them. Like that something's telling me to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like almost like an inner voice.
Yeah. So it's like the impression I get is that we're going to do like the introspection stuff that we've been doing, and it's so I eat them. And as soon as I touch my lips, my legs start like shaking. It's like my whole legs are shaking, and I'm like, I gotta lay down. And then I hear a voice saying, "You need to lay down immediately." So I lay down, I close my eyes, and it's like I'm falling, and I can't open my eyes at all. And I'm just freaking out. I'm inside. I can't say anything. Nothing. I just feels like I'm falling. And I ask, it's like, please, please, please let me open my eyes. When I open my eyes, I see what looks like my house, the inside of my house. But it's like I'm not looking through my eyes. It's like this is a projection. This is not what I'm seeing. This is not what's in front of me. It's like somebody has put something in, like they want me to see the house, but I know I'm not at the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I beg, let me open my eyes. I open my eyes and I close them again. And I get the voice is like, hey, do you trust us now? You're not dead. I said, sure. So then I let go and I surrender more. And when I finally am able to open my eyes and to where I'm at, it's just, I open them and everything is like white marble with gold, like gold. And it's just like you step outside and look at the blue sky. That's how far away all this stuff was. But everything was gold. The ground, everything. I go, oh my God, I'm dead. And that's when the voice came from behind me and said, Colin, you aren't dead. And then after that point, I don't recall, because what was said to me is that we're going to tell you some things, but you're not going to remember until the time has come. And then it kind of just fades away. That was a very profound experience. What we talked about, I don't know. I don't recall. I do know that when I woke up after that experience, I was not the same that I was ever before. I never really had a understanding of God, and that's what was the reason, and not the reason, the cause of the majority of the problems in my life was the denial of the divine. And after that experience, that was the first time I'd ever gone, oh my, God's real. Like whatever I experienced, he didn't tell me his name was God. Nothing like that was said. But the sense of knowing when I was in that presence, like, I don't know how to describe just the knowing of everything. Like you immediately, I had no questions about anything anymore. It was just like being like downloaded with all the information of the universe at one time. And it was unbelievable. Everything was great. And so I don't know how much time had passed before my next experience, but this is all within like a couple weeks. And so I'm trying to get back to that place. And so I eat a substantial amount of mushrooms again. This time I lay on my couch, but this time it gets a lot different.
This was a preview of today's member episode. If you want to hear the whole thing, head on over to theconfessionalspodcast.com, hit the join button, and become a member today.